Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming the global media and entertainment industry, reshaping how stories are created, produced, and consumed. I mean, it's opening new frontiers in creativity and efficiency. And that brings us to our topic of the day, which is on AI and media content creation. Now, joining us this morning in the studio is Engineer Nzube Ndiokwelu. He is an electronic engineer, the founder Beacon Smith Collective, and is also the winner of the Best AI Short Film Awards. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, so now let's start with, how would you define the current role of AI when it comes to media content creation, especially in Nigerian film and entertainment space?
Well, AI is an enabler. It's something that now democratizes access for everybody in Nigeria. The role it currently plays in the Nigerian film industry right now, I would probably say it lowers the barrier to entry for everyone right now. Everyone can be a filmmaker. Everyone is already a content creator. And without having to rely on big studios or high production or big budgets, you can basically now and then say that you can easily create your own movies. Can actually, be your own filmmaker, your own producer, and yeah, everybody now has the ability to aim high.
Well, all right. We know that you won the award in the film festival. Can you just give us a little insight on what that was all about?
Okay, so the film that won the award was titled People of the Forest. It's a film that reimagines possibilities around how we interact with our environment. It's a biotech-inspired movie, which actually helps us inspire new possibilities, because right now, in filmmaking right now, everybody could now be a filmmaker, but the difference would now then be the ideas. If everybody is now creating movies, everybody has the ability to create movies. The question is the creativity and the idea of the movie that you're trying to create. So this movie reimagines our interaction with our environment and inspires us to see a possibility, a future where we can actually engineer biology in our own native landscape. And basically, the People of the Forest refers to we, the Igbos, and in a different context, you could basically refer to us as the people of the forest. I mean, in another way, you could say we're in the tropical area, basically still the people of the forest. So it basically, reimagines the possibilities around that. So it was actually organized by the Niger Film Festival, and it held in Lagos last Saturday. And it was something that was convened by Obinna Okorokocha, who is a leading person in the creative and movie industry, and it brought together filmmakers, creators, experimenters, even diplomats from different places were attending the festival.
Yeah. Now, just like you said, a lot of people are now content creators, and AI is a very good tool that most people use now when it comes to generating ideas and the likes. Now, but in practical terms, I'd like to know, how does AI enhance this storytelling and content creation in film and media?
Good. So you can basically just imagine and bring to life anything. Now, previously, we could basically take a look at the Nollywood sector, and you probably see that we are limited with respect to certain type of movies which we could create. And more often than not, Nigerian movies are always drama, and when we dabble into fiction, it becomes something that looks a bit more ritualistic, and it doesn't, steer towards science fiction. So right now, you can basically now open up new frontiers with respect to AI. So your ideas can then now be brought to life, and you're no longer limited to having to have a big studio that must be available to you to actually create a top tier movie. So right now, even using characters like yourself or those in real life individuals, you can put them into scenes where they look real and realistic, as if they actually scripted this in a big studio. So right now, like I said, it has lowered the barrier to entry. It has also lowered the production cost of high-scale movies, or what previously we could call blockbuster movies.
Okay.
And previously, you could actually always find a correlation between the budget of a movie and the quality of the movie. Right now, that correlation could down be, it can be dissociated in a way that you can have a top tier movie which looks like as if it's a sci-fi blockbuster movie, but it was just created in a computer. You get just by an individual spending a couple of hours, could be up to 100 hours, and then you just simply putting together something that could have probably taken a professional studio about a year, choosing different locations across different countries. So right now, you shrink all that into one room and then you bring it to life at once.
All right. I think that circles around production. But then, can you walk us through the production process? Which AI tools or models is best for editing, filmmaking, content creation?
Okay, good. So there's so many different models that are available on the space. I always say it always depends on the taste of the creator. And the creator is the one that actually determines. I mean, we're in an age where being an AI creator, the difference is always about your taste. The models anybody can prompt the model. Now, what now determines the output or the quality is your taste, your ability to say, okay, this is the right creation, this is the right feel, your intuition around what you're seeing. So there are different models out there. What I used in my own was Midjourney. Now, Midjourney helps you create AI art. Now, I run an AI art gallery in Enugu here, and I've always created AI artworks. Now, Midjourney all of a sudden now enabled video creations, and then when you enable those video creations, you can then basically now see, you can transition from what looked like art into something that becomes, motion picture. And then there are other AI tools out there like Google View, Higgsfield, Halo, which is a Chinese model, and then more often than not, like I said, it always depends on what the creator wants. So, for example, if you're looking for something that looks much more human-like, you may decide to go for something like Google Video, Persona AI, or Higgsfield. And then if you're looking for something that looks much more science, or science fiction-wise, you may be moving towards Midjourney. Or if you're looking towards animation, you might be moving towards that. So the different models are actually going to give you different outputs. So when you're actually creating a movie, you already have the concept in you. You already have the vision that you're trying to bring to life. So it also depends on what you're trying to do. Then the models are going to give you different productions. Let me use a practical example. Football. There's football on TV.
Yeah.
There's football as a game. Now, you could basically take a look at both, and then there's still basically football that you're watching. But the quality of the two are not the same. The real football which we're watching is human-like, and then there's the one that is the gaming consoles, which looks a bit more like, it tries to simulate what humans look like, but it's not that perfect. So you may want to create something that reflects as, real life football, and then that's what you want to depict in your movie. But what if the movie is something that you want it to look a bit more toonish, a bit more like it's simulated? So the different models are going to give you different outputs that look just like that. So you can have something that looks human-like, and you can also have another model that is much more better as generating something that's much more, like an animation. And then also, are you creating African characters?
Okay.
There's bias in the different models with respect to how the fidelity of the characters that they create. Some create Western or Caucasian characters better based on what they've been trained with. Some create African characters better based on what they've been trained with. So it also depends on your choice. Are you trying to make a film for a global audience? Are you trying to make a film for the African audience? So your choice of model always differs with respect to that. Then for music, you can use Suno. There's an AI model known as Suno, which can basically use to create music. Then for image editing, what I used was CapCut. CapCut, the Pro model, it also still has an AI inbuilt feature, which allows you edit and stitch together movies. So right now, the user interface for you to actually, move from production, editing, generating your scenes are all now, simplified using, different models. But like I said, It always depends on the taste of the creator. The creator is the one that basically, understands what they're trying to bring to life. If you conceive it, if you imagine it, you can conceive it. Someone else can't, bring to life your imaginations.
Right. Now, one major debate has been on AI and AI generated content diluting originality and human creativity, and this issue of over reliance on machines to do what ordinarily people would sit down, take their time to think of a concept and think of a way to bring it to life. So how do you think that AI has impacted this aspect of over reliance on machines and human creativity, originality? That is one. And then how do you think that the industry can balance this AI innovation and also preserve human creativity in entertainment?
Okay, so with respect to the human creativity aspect, I have a background in AI. I only just basically, explored a different frontier, which is in filmmaking. So what I always advise people is first things first. Do not outsource your intelligence to the AI models. You are the one that actually is the one prompting it. You're the one actually directing it. So first things first, we're not outsourcing our intelligence to the artificial intelligence models. They're just basically tools. And you're the one to steer it towards the direction that you want. And when it comes to going forward with how we're going to interact with these models, you're probably going to realize that the threat there isn't the AI models. It's the person that is enabled by these AI models. I mean, think about it. I wasn't a filmmaker. I have no background in filmmaking, but I actually was able to use these models, leverage these models to bring my creativity to life. So the threat isn't the AI models. The threat isn't actually the space is going to be diluted by the AI models. It's actually that creative person that is now then supercharged by these artificial intelligence models, because they now use these tools to, it gives them 10x leverage. So having this as a leverage is something that it allows me, you, and everyone catch up to that person that has that bigger budget, that has that tools, those equipments. I mean, take a look at music industry. Young and upcoming artists, more often than not, tend to run into issues with their production studios or their music houses when they become big enough, and then they start referencing the contract that they signed when they didn't blow or they never blow, that kind of a situation. And then it always borders on the promoters saying, we invested a whole lot of money into you, we made music videos for you, we paid studio costs for you. Now, if you have a young person that is really good at this music, they can basically say, okay, for the first period of my career, I do not want to commit myself towards somebody else investing a huge amount of money into me. I can leverage an AI model, supercharge what I want to do, get my music to life. And if my music is good enough, I could simply then also go a step further, use the AI models, create my music videos. And then with that, you reduce the cost of your entry into that sector. And then when you do that, when you now arrive to the stage where you now start earning a huge amount of money, you can then now say, I wish to rely, or I want to now pay for my production, rather than having yourself go into a contract where you are at the disadvantage because you do not have the money to actually kickstart your career. And then as a result of that, you then go into a contract which you may have naively signed. So if you take a look at this scenario, you probably realize that, okay, would you prefer that we are always stuck in a situation where the artists get into friction with their music studios, which we've always seen in the Nigerian space, and then there's always that it now becomes something for the public opinion to now be the judge and say, okay, when you were young, you knew that something was invested in you, and then some are going to be on the other side and say, oh, look at the terms of this contract, this is exploitative. So if you actually also look at the perspective that there are thousands of people out there that are actually not having the money to pay for studios, that don't have the money to pay for their music videos, right now you can basically do that by yourself. And then we have already had exceptional artists that went on that solo route by themselves. Black Bones is like an example of somebody that went on the solo route of producing his own music, produces his own music videos. We actually even have music like artists directing their own music videos.
Yes.
And most times they direct their own music videos because they want to bring their imaginations to life. They have like the ones that conceived the idea. So more often than not, you may now realize that people are now going to take charge of their own creations. They're going to take charge of their own creativity, and they're not going to now outsource it to third parties. You know, yeah.
So you're saying that this is not a situation of diluting originality or over reliance on machines?
No, this is a situation where originality is being supercharged.
Oh, great. But then I've seen a whole lot of content creators making money out of this, while some people are of the opinion that it's not content. Content cannot give you this kind of money. You're doing rituals, you're doing this, you're doing that. So I would like to understand, how do you monetize all these AI models? What platforms do you use? How does this resources come in?
Okay, so when it comes to monetization, every creator, every distributor, or should I say, director or people that create content have their own monetization strategy.
Okay.
People have multiple streams of income. Some rely on the content creation for fame. And actually, while at the background, there's some other third-party business that they do. You get more often than not within the Nigerian space, you find that people in content creation, leverage it, to actually get fame, not always to actually become very rich. They always have their third-party businesses which they do, which actually gives them funding. Then also, the diaspora has what I could describe as an insatiable appetite for Nigerian produced content. So there's still an audience for that. So I've seen people monetize through Facebook. I've seen people monetize through YouTube. I've seen people monetize through Instagram, and even on TikTok. I've seen people with that actually, produce content in their background, and like in their local environment, and then you see people, more especially those in the diaspora, taking a look at the content and saying, I want to support what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is something that I must, say that from my personal experience, you tend to find a lot of, Nigerians in the diaspora willing to always invest in content creators. They always see it like, that's the next big star. That's the next big thing. And then when you take a disparity on the currency in Nigeria, so someone could actually, use something that is like a stipend over there, and then it's a huge investment to somebody in Nigeria here, and that bolsters the person to actually get better gadgets, get better equipment. But with respect to monetizing, you're probably going to see that it's still the traditional sources of monetization, which you already know, which are YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. But like we all know, the payouts from these platforms are not as much as it's always been hyped to be. So like I said, more people are relying on content creation in Nigeria, as a route to fame, not always as a route to riches.
Okay.
So when there's this false assumption that every content creator is actually getting millions of naira out of that. Yes, there are those that make a whole lot of money, but that is reserved for perhaps the elite, should I say the top 1% of the creators you have in the Nigerian space.
Yes. Now let's look at accessibility of these AI tools for the average Nigerian creative. Many Nigerian creatives face challenges with electricity, internet, training. AI tools are quite expensive. I mean, except you're using the free version, but if you want to get the full package, you have to pay for like the pro and the like. So how accessible would you say are these AI tools for the average Nigerian filmmaker or creator, and what barriers do you think are still there that need to be addressed?
Okay, you're correct, very, very correct that we have a whole lot of barrier to entry with respect to these models. Accessible internet, free, reliable energy, electricity, and these premium models actually cost a fortune to actually, create something that is like a full length or feature film or even a short film. It actually, takes you back considerably financially. So this is something that you introduced me as the founder of the Beacon Smith Collective, and I have the Beacon Smith House, which is a facility that has existed since December last year. And the purpose of this facility is to democratize access to these models. So it actually gives you access to a reliable internet through our Starlink. You can actually walk in and get subsidized access to our AI models. You can actually also realize that we are going to install solar panels to ensure that we have reliable electricity.
Yeah,
So we are in an age where you now have creator houses like this popping out in different cities. We have to leverage and realize that you can't pay for it while I pay for it and a third party pay for it and another person pays for it. We're spending a whole lot of money doing that. What we can do is concentrate funding to one source and then ensure that everybody has access to it. Do you understand? Like, this is how we as Africans have to go, because that's the reason why it's a collective. It has to be a collective effort. The minute we try to go on an individual route in this era, we are going to just drain ourselves of these resources. So the only way that this is my own vision and this is my own path, which is that we must go on a collective path. As much as I may have access to these tools and pay for them, not everybody is going to. One person could have that creativity in their head and they may not have access to the models. So when we create platforms that allow people, anybody, as long as you are creative and you have the idea and you say to yourself, yes, I can do this, there will be spaces like that which are now popping up. It's not just only in Enugu. I'm only talking about it to encourage more states to adopt this model, because in the blockchain it's called builder hubs. But it merges the entire emerging technologies. It's places where you can walk in and get access to these emerging technologies. Be it the new the coming robotics, be it the blockchain networks, be it biotech, be it frontier arts, be it these AI models. We need to have creative hubs where we then condense this. They're like knowledge houses where you can walk in and then you can be supercharged within that environment, because each and every one of us can't try to afford these models. And when we do that, we're only draining our resources. But when we combine our resources towards one niche, we can then now realize that it now serves more like a societal purpose, and it's now available for everyone.
All right. I want to understand which 3 things, for instance, if I want to become a filmmaker, which 3 things should I learn? What should I do for me to be like you?
I'm going to say first things first, you must learn prompting.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something known as prompt engineering. This is like your instructions, your ability to guide the models. What you're telling the models that's the most important thing there. So first of all, you must learn prompting. Secondly, you must also be very, very creative. Understand that your imaginations can always come to life.
Yes.
And then also, you must be dedicated to putting a huge amount of hours, because it's not something that you're just going to basically assume, okay, these models are good. And then as a result of that, you are going to be better than someone that's putting more time than you. So dedication, prompt engineering, creativity. These are some of the 3 things I'm going to ask you to, leverage these 3 resources and then attack the models.
I like the use of attack.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. or should I say engineer? I hope I got that right.
Yeah, you got it right.
All right. He is
you.
an economic electronic engineer and founder of Beacon Smith Collective, winner of the Best AI Short Film Awards. Congratulations to you, by the way.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're just talking on AI and media content creation, Enugu AI Film Festival. That is that on that conversation this morning. And we are going to be handing over to Luke Umbo on Political Circle. And after that, we'll go over to Abuja Studio for more conversations. Do stay with us.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have, some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Chigichi Agorom, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.